Hey everybody! And if you stepped outside today anywhere east of the Mississippi River, you already know the story. This air is vicious. Wind chills have nose-dived to 45 below zero in parts of upstate New York. And frostbite is a real threat within minutes for anyone caught without proper cover. But what I need you to understand tonight is that this weekend's cold blast, as nasty as it is just one chapter in a much longer winter story. Over the next 12 days through February 20th, this country is going to deal with everything. Record-breaking warmth in the plains, a parade of Pacific storms finally waking up the drought-stricken West, a potential wintry system around Valentine's Day weekend that the models are already arguing about and hanging over all of it, a polar vortex that is splitting apart in the stratosphere and threatening to keep the cold coming well into March. I'm going to take you through all of it region by region, city by city. Let's break it down. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now, let's move on. Let's start with what's happening right now because this is the coldest air of the season, sitting over the eastern third of the nation. The Weather Prediction Center confirmed it this afternoon. A dangerous Arctic air mass is persisting over the eastern Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, and the entire Northeast. Record low maximum temperatures and record low minimums are possible across the Mid-Atlantic today, with readings running a staggering 20 to 30 degrees below normal. Wind chills are brutal. We're talking 30 in the mountains of Vermont and New Hampshire, 45 in the higher elevations of upstate New York. Even along the I-95 corridor from Philadelphia to Boston, it feels well below zero. Cape Cod and Long Island saw near whiteout conditions yesterday afternoon when moderate snow showers combined with howling northwest winds to slash visibility almost to nothing. Those winds are going to take until after midnight to really settle. And even tomorrow morning, gusts near the coast could still hit 30 to 35, keeping wind chills dangerously low. If you're heading out to watch the Super Bowl at someone's house today, cover every inch of exposed skin. This is not the kind of cold you can tough out. Now here's the thing that makes this pattern so unusual. While the East shivers, the western two-thirds of the country is experiencing something almost unbelievable. By Monday afternoon, the northern and central plains are going to see temperature anomalies of 30 to 40 degrees above normal. Let that sink in for a second. Nebraska, Iowa, across the entire plains corridor along I-80. Highs could reach the low 70s. In early February, the 60-degree line pushes into southern South Dakota and southwest Minnesota. Record highs are on the table. This kind of split-screen weather, brutal Arctic cold on one side, almost summer-like warmth on the other, happens when the jet ream buckles violently, and right now it looks like someone bent it in half. The good news for the East is that this cold won't hold at its most extreme levels all week. Monday will still be chilly across the Northeast, but by Tuesday, temperatures begin to moderate. The ridge that's keeping the plains so warm is going to shift eastward. And while it won't fully bulldoze its way to the immediate coast, it'll take the edge off. New York could climb back toward the low 30s by Tuesday, pushing into the 40s by Wednesday. Philadelphia and D.C. could see mid-40s to near 50 by midweek. After what this region has endured, that's going to feel like spring. But don't be fooled. This warmth is borrowed time, and the atmosphere has more cards to play before February is done. Out west, the story is finally changing. A Pacific storm system is moving onshore across the Pacific Northwest this evening, and it's the first in what looks like a sustained pattern shift. This fire hose of moisture keeps feeding in through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, migrating south. By Tuesday, the Sierra Nevada could start catching heavier snowfall, feet in the highest elevations. Coastal California from San Diego to Sacramento could see meaningful rain. By Wednesday, the energy shifts into the Rockies. and even Denver might finally pick up some accumulation. The Cascades and Northern Rockies could see enormous totals, potentially 80 to 90 in the highest terrain. This is what the West needs desperately. Snowpack across the Sierra and Cascades has been running at 50 to 70% of normal, and Colorado is tracking toward its worst snowpack on record. Now let me walk you through the second week of February, because this is where the forecast gets really interesting and a little complicated. Looking at the upper-level pattern for February 9th through the 16th, that warm ridge is going to shift eastward into the nation's midsection. While a trough digs into the west, that trough is what's feeding all the western precipitation, and it's going to remain active. But the models are starting to diverge on what happens by Valentine's Day weekend, and I need to walk you through that carefully. The European model keeps things more muted. Some light snow and freezing drizzle from a clipper tracking through southern Canada, and the upper Midwest with rain and thunderstorms across the southern plains and Tennessee Valley by Tuesday night. But the GFS is significantly more aggressive by Valentine's Day weekend, painting a wintry low, developing from the southern plains and tracking northeast toward the Ohio Valley. Snow on its northern flank changing to ice, then rain further south. That's a classic winter storm setup with major potential impacts across the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and Northeast. The European ensemble splits the difference, showing low pressure developing from the southern plains with wintry weather on its northern side. The details will sharpen, but the signal is real. Let me give you city-by-city expectations through this period. In the Northeast, New York City starts the week in the deep freeze. Single-digit lows tonight, highs barely in the teens. But the warm-up is coming fast, reaching the low 30s by Tuesday and possibly the mid-40s by Wednesday. Light snow from northern stream energy is possible Tuesday night into Wednesday. But it's not a major event. The bigger question is, what happens by the Valentine's Day weekend system? Boston follows a similar trajectory. Record cold today, fading to a milder midweek before the next system threatens. Philadelphia and D.C. see one more brutal cold day Monday, before the moderation kicks in with highs potentially near 50 by Wednesday. Washington, D.C. could see its most significant snow chances later in the period. And remember, February is historically D.C.'s snowiest month with 3 to 7 in possible for the full month this year. Across the Midwest and Great Lakes, Chicago swings from single digits this weekend to possibly near 40 by the middle of the week. That kind of 30-degree temperature swing in 3 days is hard on everything from roads to pipes to people. Detroit, Cleveland, Milwaukee all ride the same roller coaster. Minneapolis stays the coldest of the major cities, but even the Twin Cities will catch a brief break. The parade of clipper systems continues to stack small snow amounts, an inch here, 2 in there. And with lake effect snow enhanced by cold air flowing over the relatively warm Great Lakes, the accumulation keeps building. No way. A has flagged all of Michigan for 50 to 60% above normal February snowfall. Ohio, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Illinois are in the same above normal zone. Buffalo remains locked in its lake effect snow machine with no shutoff in sight. The Southeast is in recovery mode, but can't let its guard down. Atlanta, Charlotte, Nashville, Raleigh took historic hits in January. That massive storm killed over 150 people, left more than 1 million without power. Charlotte saw a foot of snow. Nashville endured a crippling ice storm. The immediate forecast brings moderating temperatures. But if the Valentine's Day system tracks south or the vortex collapse delivers another cold surge, freezing temperatures could push well below the normal line again. Black ice remains a nightly hazard across the region. The plains are going to be the wildest ride in the country. Kansas City, Oklahoma City, and Dallas will flirt with abnormally warm temperatures early in the week, potentially near 60 in Dallas, 50s across Oklahoma and Kansas. But when the Valentine's Day system develops, The southern plains could see rain and thunderstorms with wintry weather on the system's northern edge. The longer-range outlook suggests the western trough will amplify, eventually pushing colder air back east. Dallas could swing from near 60 to below freezing within days. Out west, the next 2 weeks are the best chance for snowpack recovery all season. The Pacific Northwest stays active with system after system. The Sierra Nevada could start clawing back toward average. Northern Utah's Wasatch Range and the northern Rockies are in the favored precipitation zone. Los Angeles and the Bay Area remain mild in the 60s and low 70s. A different world from the eastern half of the country. Looking beyond February 16th, the upper-level pattern shifts again. The ridge in the northeast Pacific is expected to amplify, and downstream a trough will strengthen across the west. Digging south, the eastern ridge holds for a while, keeping things mild along the Gulf Coast. But as the western trough deepens, colder air will push across the northern tier. The upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and Northeast will feel the chill return by late February. Major winter storms remain possible along the Colorado to Ohio Valley, to Northeast storm track, and mountain snow out west keeps piling up. The polar vortex situation hangs over everything. The stratospheric warming event is confirmed by mid-February. Models expect a full split. One lobe heading toward Eurasia, the other over North America. Surface effects typically show up 1 to 3 weeks later, putting the prime impact window in late February into early March. A clash with a Madden-Julian oscillation wave may temporarily shield the U.S. around Valentine's Day, but once that tropical interference passes, the cold is expected to return. March looks volatile. Big temperature swings, late-season storm potential, and a transition season full of surprises. Bottom line, keep those shovels and salt handy. Keep your emergency kits stocked, and don't put the winter gear away yet. The east warms up briefly this week, but another system is loading up for Valentine's Day weekend. The west is finally getting its moisture, and the polar vortex is threatening to keep this pattern going deeper into the season than anyone wants to think about. Stay safe out there, and I'll have your next update as these systems sharpen up. Thanks for watching.